In the old Universal Analytics, there was a metric called bounce rate that used to be, in my opinion, overlooked by so many businesses, especially hotels. It was considered a KPI, and now in GA4 it almost disappeared, or at least has been quite deprecated. Instead, in GA4 now we have other metrics that are quite the opposite as opposed to the bounce rate, in the sense that instead of computing how many people leave, so bounce, they compute how people interact with our content. And this, in my opinion, is quite more useful, even though the engagement rate may be a little bit tricky. First of all, if we go into the reports section, we can already get into a little bit more details as to how people engage. We have the engagement section, and then we can see, for example, on a page level and screens level, how people interact with each and every page. And so we can have, for example, the average engagement time, so how much people do they spend on that page. We don't have much else in here, and so eventually we can create a custom report to pull in some more engagement related metric. And so let's go into the explore section. Let's create a new blank report, and again, like always, let's first import our dimension. So we want to see on a page level, so kind of replicating what we were looking at before. Now I select page path and screen class. I usually not select the query string simply because it pulls in too many URL parameters that I don't want to see. And then of course let's select metric and let Google suggest us what we can have. So if we can simply start typing our, let's say, keyword, let's just select some of them: engagement rate, average engagement time per session. That's quite interesting. Or let's first see some other metric. Let's say, for example, how many views per user and how many views per session. So that's going to be quite interesting. Let's also see the total number of views, and let's import them. Again, this is going to be a very basic report, all right, but let's import them, dimensions, and then let's select each and every metric. I'm double clicking on each of them, and there it is, our report. So for each page we have the engagement rate, the average engagement time per session, views per user, so how many times the page has been viewed for each and every session, in this case, and then the same for user, and then the total number of views. Probably we can see that the pages doesn't seem to be very much engaging, in the sense that the number of seconds seems to be on average pretty low as opposed to other hotels, for example. Now, based on my experience, even though now these engagement related metrics can tell us a little bit more as opposed to the bounce rate, the former bounce rate in Universal Analytics, it doesn't really tell the full truth. For example, on average I can see that this engagement rate, the total engagement rate, as opposed to other hotels, is pretty low. Most of the times I see engagement rate that are greater than 60%, probably 65%. However, I can confirm this hotel is performing very well. And the point is that they have a very powerful call to action. In other words, this low engagement time is the result of very powerful call to action, and eventually people don't engage much with each and every page, but they go directly to the next step. As a matter of fact, this hotel has a very high conversion rate, very good performance, very good revenue, resulting in all these engagement metrics being nothing but vanity metrics. The problem would eventually be in case this hotel had this performance in terms of engagement and not so good call to action. And so you see how you always need to actually consider the full picture and place these figures into a context that makes sense.